This episode, Lines and Curves, is the fifth video in the series that goes along with James R. Parker's book, Generative Art, Algorithms as Artistic Tool.
In Chapter 4, we're going to talk about something fundamental to drawing, which is lines and curves. Computers render the images on the screen as a large number of dots. We call them pixels, picture elements. And they're, as you can see with a magnifying glass, little spots of color. They do not draw lines. And so what happens with when a computer draws curves and lines is that it connects dots together in such a way as to make them look connected. From a distance, it looks like a straight line, but actually it's a bunch of dots, like a newspaper photograph. So it is kind of difficult to explain always how to create those dots and how to line them up. But fortunately, processing does that for it. All we have to do is say, draw me a line, and it draws this perfect straight line by connecting those dots. Draw me an ellipse, same thing. It makes an ellipse by making those dots all connect. One of the things we do talk about here in this chapter is how to create arcs and curves that are not circles, that are not straight. So how to make curves that are what a draftsman would call a spline, a sort of curve along the edge of a bottle, for example, which is neither an ellipse nor a straight line nor a circle, but a rather nice sort of shaped curve. And this is really a connection of a number of points, a number of curves that meet end to end to form a nice smooth collection of curves. Humans do this with one pencil stroke. Computers do it by connecting curve to curve to curve. This is something that is not a normal thing, and so it has to be explained in some detail. As we move through the chapter and draw different lines and curves, it becomes clear that what we need is some way to manipulate them, move them around, and rotate them. And so we do talk about geometric operations like translations, rotations, and scaling so that we can make these curves fit together very nicely. And so the operations are described at the level of the programming language, and I describe how that works when you draw it onto the screen.
In the next part, Jim Parker discusses images and visual renderings. The book, Generative Art, Algorithms as Artistic Tool, is published by Dervile and Uproot Books.